This is the magnificent Gulf of Kvarner in Croatia, and there is its biggest city, surprisingly underrated Rijeka. The first torpedo in the world was produced and launched right here, and in 2020, Rijeka was awarded the prestigious title of European Capital of Culture. Hi guys, my name is Rok and I spent last 9 years traveling around Europe as a tour guide, and I can't wait to show you things to do in Rijeka, Croatia. The most important part of Rijeka is its harbor. First harbor was built here by the Romans in the mouth of the river that enters the Adriatic Sea right here. That explains the name of the city, as the word Rijeka translates into a river. Over time, ships were becoming bigger and bigger, and the river mouth became too shallow. That is why, in the 1800s, Hungarians, who jointly ruled Rijeka with Austrians, built this new port. Construction included this long, over 1,700 meters or over a mile-long breakwater known as Mololongo that also serves as a promenade with nice views of the city. Harbor waterfront is full of bars, restaurants and palaces. The most imposing one is Adria Palace, a symbol of Rijeka's maritime power from the 19th century. Today, Palace serves as the headquarters of Jadrolinija, a national ferry company that serves the whole coast of Croatia. On the first glance, this industrial part of the harbor, about 3 kilometers or 1.8 miles from the old town, doesn't look like much. But in the 19th century, this was the place where technologically most innovative European industry was developed, as Rijeka was a major port of the powerful Austro-Hungarian Empire. Rijeka had one of the largest milling plants in the world and the largest oil refinery in Europe, and among other thriving factories, this is where the first torpedo factory in the world was built. The story of torpedoes started with an idea of a defense weapon known as a coast savior. After a successful prototype test in 1866, a factory was built, and this building, or what's left of it, was a torpedo launch station. You see, after the defeat of Austro-Hungarian Empire in the First World War, Rijeka became part of Italy, and during the Second World War, Rijeka was part of Fascist Italy. Due to its industries, it was an important target of Allied strategic bombing. Second World War devastation is the main reason why Rijeka is such an architectural mishmash. In old railroad warehouse next to the old town, you can visit an interesting torpedo exhibition open from Tuesday to Sunday from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. In this interesting industrial environment, you will learn how these sophisticated weapons were designed and built in Rijeka. On the slopes of Rijeka is one of the most beautiful mosques in Europe. 6 domes and semi-domes in reinforced concrete are rising from the square with great views over the Adriatic Sea. The minaret is also a unique structure made from a central steel cylinder and a sheet steel mantle. Under the square are 2 levels for the Islamic Center, where you can also find a restaurant. The mosque can be visited outside 5 daily times of prayer. This beautiful and modern Islamic Center and its mosque were built in 2013, and they show how Rijeka was always a multinational, multicultural, modern and cosmopolitan city. From a modern mosque to an old Roman Catholic cathedral dedicated to Saint Vitus, a patron saint of the city. Saint Vitus is portrayed as a young man with a palm, and in the Middle Ages he became such an important figure that Rijeka was called Rijeka of Saint Vitus. Old medieval cathedral was replaced with this Baroque-style round church in the 1600s. If you know Venice, this will remind you of the famous round church of Santa Maria della Salute, upon which it was modeled. Near the entrance to the cathedral is an interesting quirk, a lodged cannonball from the Napoleonic Wars. This is a reminder that Rijeka had a turbulent past. Inside, you can admire rich ornamented marble altars with numerous statues of saints. But the most valuable piece is Gothic crucifix from the 13th century. You should also take a closer look at beautifully sculpted main bronze doors as they show Croatian history. Cathedral is open daily from 6:30 a.m. till noon and from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Despite being a major seaport and despite its rich industrial past, Rijeka has surprising beaches awarded with blue flag, a symbol of finest beaches and the cleanest sea. Just don't expect to find them in the city center. Popular beaches are only a couple of kilometers up and down the coast, and they can be reached by public transport. And this is one of them, pebbled city beach Palce. With its shallow banks, it's popular with families. Here you can find bars and restaurants and swimming pools that are part of newly built water polo stadium, a popular sport in Croatia. This is one of the most picturesque soccer stadiums in the world. It sits right between the sea and the steep cliff and was ranked third on CNN list of the most unusual stadiums in the world. This stadium is mainly used for soccer, athletics, concerts and tournaments, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. Under the stadium is a pebbled beach, a popular place with young people, and for pet owners, it's good to know that there is also a separate dog beach. This is the main food market with fresh regional products. It's located next to the port in 3 Art Nouveau market halls. They are standing in a row so you can easily pass from one hall to another. First hall is for dairy products, then it's a meat product hall, and the third building is for fish and seafood, as Adriatic Sea is just a stone throw away. It's obvious how important the fish market is, as it's located in imposing Liberty-style building with charming moldings. Between the buildings is an open-air market where you'll find fresh vegetables and fruits. Here you'll find ladies presenting their products on small tables, as these veggies come directly from their backyard and are part of so-called urban gardening. This lovely central market is open daily. Once you walk under the clock tower, you enter to the oldest part of Rijeka. Despite wars, earthquakes and heavy bombardment during the Second World War, Old Town still preserves some of its historical charm. But due to the Second World War devastation and the fact that Rijeka was rebuilt by communist Yugoslavia, the Old Town is a big mixture of different styles. This leaning self-standing bell tower from the Middle Ages is a great example. It belongs to the beautiful medieval church next to it that was built on the remains of a Roman thermal bath. But all around the church and the tower are practical and not the most inspiring buildings from the communist period. This is Roman arch known as the Old Gate, and it is among the oldest remains in Rijeka. As you can see, it's currently under renovation. Somehow it managed to survive to this day, and it has been incorporated into present-day buildings. This arch used to be part of monumental main entrance into Roman military headquarters, from where modern-day city developed over centuries. If you walk under the arch, you will get to a small archaeological park with more Roman remains. Only few streets from the sea, the city starts to go uphill on the gradually rising slope. Hilly terrain was used by Italian military. Between the World Wars, Rijeka was part of Italy, and the military built underground tunnels to protect civilians from Allied aerial bombings. And it turned out that these tunnels were really needed. The tunnels are open to the public and are a great place to escape the summer heat. One of the entrances is right next to the Cathedral of St. Vitus. Unfortunately, at the time of my visit, the tunnel is temporarily closed due to COVID restrictions. Just a few moments ago, this passage in the Old Town was packed with people. It's located on famous pedestrian Korzo Street under the Radio Rijeka building, and it often comes useful as it's known as the waiting room for brightening. It serves as public shelter where you can wait until the rain stops. Even on hot, sunny summer days, you can expect short showers in Rijeka as the moist air from the sea rises to the high mountains right behind the city. To make waiting more fun, the walls have signs with interesting information about rain in Rijeka. One of the signs says that in his lifetime, the citizen of Rijeka changes about 3,480 umbrellas. Now, I don't know how they come up with that number, but that is a lot of umbrellas. And this is the soul of Rijeka. This lovely pedestrian promenade is lined with numerous cafes, bars and shops and is the most popular meeting place in the city. Rijeka used to be surrounded by defensive city walls that used to run right where this street is. City walls were pulled down in the 18th century after a major earthquake when Rijeka began its transformation and the city as we know it started to emerge. As Rijeka was part of Austrian Empire from 1400s till the First World War, it was the Austrians who pulled down the city walls and transformed newly freed space into this lovely promenade. Austrians also built a clock tower with richly decorated portal wearing Austrian imperial coat of arms and stone reliefs of Austrian emperors. City Clock Tower has immediately become a landmark of the city, and "Let's meet under the clock" is still a familiar expression around Rijeka. Old archway marks the beginning of Trsat staircase with more than 500 stone steps leading from the city center to the famous shrine of Our Lady. Steps were constructed in 1500s to be used by pilgrims and were lined with chapels used as rest stops. A local legend talks about a devil helping people to build the stairs in exchange of the first soul that walks the staircase. Once the work was completed, people sent the goat to be the first to walk the stairs. The devil got angry and cursed the staircase. As a result, no one can count the exact number of steps. Once you walk the stairs, or rather use a public bus, you'll get to one of the most important pilgrimage sites in the country. This is the oldest church dedicated to Mary in Croatia. According to the legend, angels brought a Holy Family tabernacle from the Holy Land to this exact spot on May 10, 1291. It remained here for 3.5 years until, according to the legend, angels transferred it to Loreto, Italy. In this place, church was built and it became a pilgrimage site. Most of the present-day shrine dates from the 15th century when Count Frankopan constructed a new church and monastery for Franciscan monks. In the 14th century, Pope donated a painting of Mother of God breastfeeding the dressed baby Jesus that is kept at the main altar, and it's considered to be its greatest treasure. Not far from the church is this 13th century castle built on a strategic point right above the river. This is an excellent lookout point from where you can also see the entire Gulf of Kvarner. First lookout tower was built here even before the Romans, and over the centuries the tower grew into a fort. This castle played a crucial role in defending Rijeka. When the last major threats were gone, the castle fell into decay. In the mid-1800s, it was given to a senior officer of Austrian troops. He restored it in neo-Gothic style and gave it today's appearance. The castle remained in the hands of his family until the end of the Second World War. Today, it is used for open-air summer concerts, theater performances, and other events. Castle has a gallery space and its courtyard serves as a restaurant and can be visited every day from 9 a.m. to midnight. If you ever traveled by road to Croatian coast, you were among millions of people that pass by Rijeka every year and never stop here. From the highway, you can see big communist-era skyscrapers and ugly industrial buildings, so most people presume that Rijeka is just an ugly Croatian port town, and I was no different. But when I came across this 17th century illustration of Rijeka, I was amazed. After spending few days here, I can say that I was impressed by Rijeka, its heritage and easygoing charm, and I think this place is well worth the stop. If you want to see my other Croatia videos, check out my Croatia playlist in the top corner. If you like this video, please give it thumbs up. You can share your questions, suggestions or experience about Rijeka in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit notification bell to be notified about my future travel videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.